Valentine's Day is rapidly approaching, but I have just a couple more projects I want to squeeze in. So I have these Dollar Tree items and these little hearts I got from Hobby Lobby to make a cute shelf sitter. I'm going to take this love sign and give it a solid coat of this white chalk paint. I'm using my chip brush to cover a good large area to start with, and then I'm swapping to this little small brush to get in all those grooves and edges that I couldn't get to with the bigger brush. Next, I'm going to use this Antique Wax by Waverly and a wet wipe to smear onto this plank and kind of give it a stained look. I can kind of control with this wet wipe how much or how little I want to be on my piece, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to take the smaller brush to get in all those little small edges. Then I'm going to use that wet wipe that has some of the stain left over on it to go over my love sign. I'm just going to focus on those edges and corners and the base just to give it a little bit of a distressed look. And I probably should have done this first, but I am going to use my little mini sander to go on some of those edges and distress some of those corners. Then once I've done that, I'm going to take that wet wipe and go back over it a little bit more. And here's how it looks so far. I'm going to set all that aside to dry and work on my hearts. I have these two pieces of scrapbook to give them a nice design. I'm going to cut out a smaller square just to make it easier to work with. Then I'm going to trace the shape of those hearts and cut them out. Now I'm going to apply a layer of Mod Podge to both of those wooden hearts and press my paper on. And I did cut the paper a little outside of the lines, that way it would be easier to line it up when I was ready to glue. So now I'm going to take my mini sander and go around those edges just to get rid of any extra that might be hanging off. Then I'm going to grab my wet wipe again that has that antique wax on there and just lightly go around the edges, focusing kind of in those corners a little bit more. And then I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge on top to seal it off. And then I've kind of pre-measured, so I'm going to glue that smaller heart on top of the larger heart where I need it to lay so that it'll fit on my piece. Then I'm going to take this string and wrap it around both of the hearts, and I'm going to tie a little knot in it. It wouldn't really be still on those hearts, so I did pull it off and just kind of tie a little knot at the top and then push it back on. And then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and glue that string in place on the back, as well as a little small piece underneath that knot on the front. And keep in mind that hot glue does not really stick to Mod Podge very well, so once I glue this down, I'm going to be very careful not to move it again. Then I'm going to rough up my panel just a little bit on the corners with my mini sander, and I'm going to glue it to the back side of that love sign. And I guess I could have dry brushed my panel a little bit and gave it some more detail, but I really like how the bright white stood out against the dark wood. Now I'm ready to add my hearts, so I'm just kind of seeing where they're going to hit on that panel and make sure that I add glue to those places where I know that they are going to make a connection. Then to finish it off, I'm going to use some of this distressing ink in Espresso. It's a new color I'm trying out. And I'm going to go around the edges of that palette and then the edges of the love sign and my letters. And I'm also going to use my little blending brush to get in the places that I couldn't with that ink pad. I'm just focusing kind of on the corners and the edges and anywhere I think might catch a little extra detail. I'm also going over my hearts a little bit and the little rope that I have tied on top. And I just really love how rustic this turned out. I left it a little more neutral so that it could be used longer. Thanks so much for watching my video. I feel like this craft was just so simple and easy. Even if you're a beginner, you could pull it off. So I hope it inspired you to get a little crafty. Have a blessed day.